The next dramatic effect in my life was a man I met by the name of Mr. Earl Schoaf, who introduced me to nutrition as a business and a product, who introduced me to network marketing. Best of all, he introduced me to the idea of personal development. And here it is. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I started hearing those ideas age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life. First, I was excited about the product because my mother had studied health and nutrition all of my life. I was the beneficiary. So was my father, who lived to be 93. And then to discover it as a product and a business blew my mind. Those ideas drastically changed the course of my life. Guess what it did? Set for me a new attitude and philosophy. So make this note now. Philosophy determines attitude. It's not something that requires working around the clock. It just requires simply a commitment. Here's what I did. I started part-time. So make this note. Teach people the magic of starting to work part-time. So I think here's what we ought to try to teach. Let's go full-time, part-time. If you're going to dedicate 10 or 15 hours, a week to the business, just fill up those hours with activity and phone calls and flyers and on the internet, start making the contacts. But fill up that 10, 15 hours. Go full-time, part-time. Now, here's what's exciting about being part-time. It's the most extraordinary part of Herbalife's value that we can give to someone who joins. You'll soon be taught by people from every walk of life that you can possibly imagine. It's worth that alone to see if it won't affect your thinking, your philosophy, your attitude, and change your life. So I met this extraordinary man, Mr. Earl Schoaf. He gave me these opening ideas for changing my life, building my business. It was absolutely incredible. Then I was a distributor for 7 years. And signing autographs one more time today reminds me of when I got my first autograph. Reminds me of when I took my first picture with somebody important and went home and started telling the story. That's why I probably linger a little longer doing the autographs than most people do, simply because I remember that first time. And I remember how important it was to me. On my trip to India, I started a program. We had some leadership classes as well as doing a seminar for the distributors and for the public. And I promised in the leadership classes that I would sign everybody's journal, not just the few who came up. But I took the time and we arranged it, and it worked like magic. A couple of rows at a time coming by. Sign, say hello, look them in the eye. Sign, say hello, look them in the eye. Everybody in the leadership classes. And the feedback has been absolutely incredible. Taking the time, because I know how important it is, those early days after I met this extraordinary man. Then let's go about 27 years ago when I'm doing this little talk and seminar in Los Angeles, California, and in my audience is a young man, 19 years old. His name is Mark Hughes. What an extraordinary day that was. From the Girl Scout story, and then to meeting Mr. Schoaf and starting to change my life, for gaining the experience that was going to serve me well all of these years, then finally meeting Mark Hughes, where I could make a deposit of my experience and life and heart and soul into something I believed in. Those were 3 extraordinary occasions. Then let me look back at just one more. When I first started traveling with Mark 21 years ago, I met with a group of distributors. I told them that I was an only child. I had no brothers and no sisters, and I always wanted to belong to a large family. So I asked those very first Herbalife distributors if they would adopt me into their family. They agreed to do so. So I'm now in Hawaii, not just with my friends, not just with my business associates. I'm here with my family. Now here's how the past becomes useful. Not to live in the past and not to dwell in the past, but to borrow the experience of the past, and then, here's the second part, invest them in the future. We sometimes make the comment, he has a wealth of experience. And see, experience is wealth. What we've been through is a treasure. What we now know is so vital, not just to ourselves and our families, but to the people we're going to meet in the future and the ones we've helped to change their lives up until now. So the past is valuable if you gather it up and invest it now into the future. That's part of our exercise here these 4 days, remembering the past, using it as an investment for the future. Now here's the second one. We look back, yes, but now we look ahead. We look back for experience and we look ahead for inspiration, setting our goals, your family goals, your business goals, the person you wish to become, the skills you wish to develop, the people you want to meet, the places you want to go, the experiences you want to have, the person you wish to be. All of those goals are important. Here's what my mentor taught me when I was 25, for your notes. He said, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. He says, Mr. Owen, I think you've got the experience and you've got the skills and you certainly have the desire. Here's what you might be lacking, a long enough list of reasons. Reasons that drive you, reasons that get you up a little extra early, reasons that keep you up a little extra late, reasons that make you a team player, reasons that make you solve the dilemma of your own challenges and then start helping somebody else with their challenges. Reasons, that's what makes the difference. In an Herbalife, we've got a lot of reasons based on our history and based on where we are. I think part of our reasons for the future is going to be just a little revenge, right, John? A little revenge for the people who said we couldn't do it, for the people who said we wouldn't last through the 3 years of transition after Mark died. It's going to be such a delight when we get the report that we passed 2 billion, right? And we're going to get on the phone. For those who said, you know, the Chairman's Club's going to leave and the President's Team's going to leave and Herbalife is going to fall apart, we've got some good reasons now to succeed. And for those who said we wouldn't make it this far, we just can't wait to get to the 2 billion. Then the 3 billion. No telling who we will get on the phone and call and tell and show, and the pictures and the photographs and the albums we will have by the time we reach 3 billion. Then I can't wait for the day to come when Michael Johnson walks on the stage, and after we've gotten the final accounting, and for the goal that he worked so hard for, and the staff that worked with him, and all the stuff we've accomplished, especially this past 9 months and in the next couple of years, when we present him with a refined accounting in a well-bound book, and when he opens it up, Michael Johnson will read, "We have just reached the 5 billion, Mr. Johnson." Of course, we paid the price. How many of you have children at home that couldn't come, that allowed you to be here? How many of you? Looks like almost everybody. When you get back home, tell them thank you from Jim Rohn for making those sacrifices so that you could be here. I'm telling you, when we get to the 2 and then the 3 and the 4 and the 5, here's what we're going to say. Small price to pay for the glory we now share with each other. It's going to be fantastic. So, look back. Look ahead, set your goals. Here's the next one, and this one is so important. Look over your plans. Maybe you've got too small of plans. By the time we've finished here tomorrow, you might have scrapped some old plans and made some new ones, or made sure that the plan you've got is well tuned and well refined. As we speak, almost hourly and daily, the team at home office, continually revising, continually shaping, continually refining, making it more simple, making it easier to tell in terms of products, but all the rest of it, from the support staff, from from all these countries represented here around the world, fine-tuning the support staff. That's going on while we speak. We should all do the same thing. I'm fine-tuning my own plan, right? These next years, working with Herbalife and all of you around the world, I've got some plans for myself, my own growth, my own development, fine-tuning my own skills. So look over your plans for the future, your plans for your family, your plans for your health, your plans for your organization. Make sure they're in place.
Once you got somebody signed up, here's what I would personally do, okay? First thing I would do is I would tell my person to write down every single person that they know. Don't think about anything. Write down every single person that they know on a piece of paper or get their telephone book out, okay? Write that down. A lot of people, they come to the meeting here and they see, well, someone's doing flyers, or they're doing the button, or they're doing whatever. Listen, if you're brand new and you're just getting this thing going, don't start with flyers and the button and all that. You know, maybe work that in with why you're working what I'm going to tell you. Okay, but first thing you do is make out a list of every single person that you know everywhere in the world. Okay? And then you want to contact that person. I'm telling you, there's only a few things that I've done consistently over the years in Herbalife. I've used the products, write that down. I wore my button. We sell the product. We recruit people into the company and treat them like gold. Write that down. The products are the same for everybody here today. The marketing plan is going to be the same for everybody today. We don't make a different one for the boys than we do the girls, okay? One of the great things is, in Herbalife, you're going to get treated great. Why is Herbalife so different than all the rest of the multi-level companies? The product. It's the passion that all of our people have about the products. Here's a second big secret in Herbalife. And this is not something that's taught. It's something that you experience. Why was it that Mark Hughes didn't conduct this entire training class for 2 days? I could have been the star of this show for 2 days. I got it in me, by the way, to talk for 2 straight days about Herbalife. Got it in me. Don't know if my voice has got it in me, but okay, I could talk for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 25 days about Herbalife. So why did I not get up here and talk for 2 straight days to you guys and become the star of the show? Because let me tell you one of the secrets in Herbalife. It's a big secret, big secret. It's the different stories in Herbalife that affect people. See, it's not one story. You know what? There's each and every one of you, there's somebody that was up here over these last couple of days that you said, God dang it, that was incredible what that person said. And they got you. Why wasn't every single person the 3-piece suit, red tie type person? Why did we have one person like a dentist that got up there and did a marvelous job? And then you got a completely different opposite couple like Bill and Clem Heron. Having faith in the company, have faith in yourself, have faith in the products, have faith in us, because we're going to do the most unbelievable things you've ever seen in business history, okay? And the way I kind of see Herbalife someday in the future, okay, is kind of like, if you can imagine coffee and tea, okay, of hundreds and hundreds of years ago, okay? Nobody really thought coffee was going to be that big a deal and stuff like that. But today, what's the deal, okay? Even if you don't drink coffee, you have to have coffee in your house. And the reason you have to have coffee in your house is you want to be a good host, so that when people come over and say, well, what would you like to drink? They would say, well, I'd like to have some coffee. And it's kind of the way I see Herbalife. We're not that big yet, but someday when we get huge, you have to have Herbalife in your house.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a fantastic supervisor school? Help me welcome on this virtual stage your host of today, all the way from United Kingdom, Windsor, London, Chief Executive Residence Team Member 15K, 4 Diamonds, Lady Angela.
Okay, let's go. So, welcome everybody. Very exciting. I could have danced all night to that music, and the theme is let's get back to business, which is what we're doing. And I'm so excited about this supervisor school. I can't tell you, I've been now in Herbalife for 35 years. Can you imagine? I just got my pin the other day. Look at this. This pin I'm really proud of. I'm proud of all my pins, my 4 diamond, but I'm proud of this little 35-year-old pin here because it represents a lot of trainings, a lot of schools. It represents the climb. You know, we're at base camp in Mount Everest and someone says you'll never get to the top of the mountain, and you use Jim Rohn's words and say, just watch me. And the way that I was helped, and just to tell you, for those of you that don't know me, I started 35 years ago. I became a supervisor on the 1st of April, 1986. And Herbalife has just been my life it's taken over half my life. You know, I had 2 children. I've now got 4 grandchildren. I was able to give them the best education money could buy. We've traveled the world together. We've had the life that I used to dream of when I was a little girl living in a small little house in Swindon, in the west of England, with my mother who was a nurse, my father was a soldier, and my mother was always crying she didn't have enough money at the end of the week. And I used to dream of this, and Herbalife gave it to me in bucket loads. And I will never forget the day I became a supervisor. And I hope you all feel the same, because you're all supervisors on this call tonight. You've all qualified for that very prestigious level of 50% discount. Wow. When I got there, I met my sponsor, who is the late and great Alan Lorenz. I met him at the warehouse in England, and he said to me, Angela, he said, you're going to change your life like nothing you've ever seen before. And I just knew it. And I got back in my car and I said, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And Alan said to me, Angela, you've got to get to this supervisor school that's going to happen in England. I said, why? What's it going to do for me? He said, it's going to change your life forever. And the people that are speaking are going to be 2 men there. One is a young man called Mark Hughes that started this company that had the vision of how he was going to take good nutrition around the world, country by country. And the other man is the vice president. It was a man called Larry Thompson, and he had a game plan that gave us the tools to be able to make Mark's dream come alive and take the products around the world. And I went in that supervisor school and I sat down in a room and I looked around to all the people and I thought, my goodness, they look really, really special, these people. They know the secret. And now I'm going to know the secret of how I am going to change my life, my family's life, and future generations. And because I went to that school, supervisor school, and I never ever missed another event after that, I was able to do what I've done with my family, with future generations to come. I changed a whole generation of my family. They were the first, my children were the first children of the family to go to university. And they both have glorious careers now in their own rights. Their children are all privately educated. We live in beautiful homes in beautiful countries. And well, it's just a breathtaking journey. And I'm so honored and privileged. You know, I've met some wonderful people in Herbalife on my journey, but none more so than the person I'm going to bring up now. Because before I go, I hope you've all got your notepads ready. I hope you've all got your pens ready, because I have. And this is how, and I will never forget Jim Rohn saying, keep good journals, because good journals will one day make you a fortune. Your journals will one day make you a fortune. Think about that one. Think about it. So this gentleman that I'm going to bring you up, he lives between Italy and Switzerland. He was born in Spain.
I thought, I think I can do this. I think it's simple. And I think if I do it, it's going to work for me. So at the end of the meeting, you can see the picture there on the right. I went up to my sponsor, Mary, who was only a distributor at the time. She'd come all the way from America, didn't even speak Spanish. And I said, Mary, what do I need to do to start? And she pulls out this shoe-like box with a manual that was all misspelled, but I couldn't tell because I'm dyslexic. I never finished school. And there was a product and there was a button. And then she pulled out this form, which we filled out. She wasn't even a supervisor. And we put all the details. And then she said, it's 12,500 pesetas. So I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I certainly didn't have any experience. So I pulled out the money. And the moment that money left my fingers and she took it, I just had a quick thought in my mind. I thought, bloody hell, they have ripped me off once again. And you know how it is. You start asking yourself, what if it doesn't work? What if I can't do it? What if it doesn't turn out to be what they said? Anyway, Mary did a great job because all she did is focus to get me using the products. I was skeptical, but I was very much underweight and I gained a lot of energy with the products. And after 3 days, I couldn't believe it. I was all excited about getting up early. And I went straight to my mom. I said, Mom, this is great for you. And she said, no, thank you. So boom, I became depressed like a horse, wondering again, is this going to work? Is it going to be what they said it is? Is anybody going to be interested in this? And then I met my friend, Enrique, and we used to ride together. And he said, no, I'm not interested in the business, but you might want to talk to my mom. That's the lady on the left with the pink dress. She needs to lose weight. And this is the lady that taught me what this business is all about. In a simple line, it's about helping people help themselves. So after 1 month, I got a phone call from this lady and she was all excited, actually emotional, crying, saying, thank you, Alfred, for what you've done for me. And I used to think, well, I don't do anything. Yes, I pray for the products to work, but I just followed the script they gave me how to do follow-up. And when she had doubts, I would encourage her and say, yes, come on, continue. You're going to lose weight. And by the way, Dolores, you are my best customer. Of course, she was the only one I had. Now, I can laugh about this, but at the time I had no desire to laugh. But because of that lady, the son, the guy that you see in the middle picture with the tie, my friend Enrique, when I explained it to him, he didn't join. But when he saw all these people in his mother's house buying products, he joined the company, became my very, very first distributor. And now he's a 15K full diamonds president's team. Now, I used to have a very special car. I used to drive around. You can see it nicely branded, a Citroen 2CV. It had holes in the roof. There was no exhaust pipe and the windows were not there. So the air was constantly conditioned. And I used to drive around all the towns, delivering products to my customers and just dreaming about my business and thinking that I was very fortunate because I found the right opportunity. Then the next thing that happened to me, I went to my very first supervisor school. And you can see in a minute the picture where I'm standing with my sponsor, Mary, and two of the top leaders in the world. And it was in that supervisor school that I understood that if those people that were making those kinds of money were making it happen, there was no reason why I couldn't do it. And there was a girl that stood up. She said, I'm just 19. I just qualified to the GET team. And last month I made $3,000. And I could not believe it. I thought, if that girl can do it, I'm going to do it. So I set a dream in my head. I'm going for the GET team. And I didn't really look back, because after my first extravaganza, you can see the picture there with Mark Hughes and his wife. I went to my first extravaganza by myself because my distributor said, you go and then you tell us about it. Well, I did go, and that's the best thing I ever did, because I then got the big global picture of what Herbalife could be for me. And of course, I met Mark Hughes, and it was unbelievable. I went back home and I hired a table in that restaurant that you can see there. And I started doing meetings every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday. And more people got interested. And then I teamed up with three of my buddies, Jack, Keith, and Antonio, in Barcelona. And we basically built Barcelona. And from Barcelona, we basically built Spain. Even today, a huge chunk of the business over there is in our organizations. Then what happened to me, I qualified to the GET team after 9 months, and my income went up to $5,000 a month. I could not believe it. How many of you would like to increase your income by $5,000 a month? Well, I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. I had the honor to meet Mark Hughes, like Angela said, and become his translator. And I remember on that picture on the right with my parents in front of 2,000 people in Barcelona. There I was translating for the man himself. And of course, my parents were delighted to see that I was really on track to having a very successful business. Then I just kept on doing everything I'd done to get to that level. And I hit the millionaire team after a year and a half in the business. And my income went through the roof to $30,000 a month. I bought a different car. As a GET team member, I had that Peugeot. And then I bought myself a nice Audi Cabrio, which at the time was a really cool car. Now it's just, a very average car. But basically 4 years after really getting started in the Alaska restaurant in Barcelona with no experience and no money, there I was in Los Angeles getting pinned by the man himself as a brand new president's team member. And all I can say is that I've never looked back. I've had ups and downs like everybody else, yes, but I've never stopped dreaming that this business was going to get to where I was going to allow me to get to where I wanted to go. And I've been fortunate to have my own family. We have tremendous fun. We travel around the world. Now the business has grown. There's over 100,000 distributors in 40 countries. And we can live a very, very awesome life with complete freedom and independence. And that's what I wanted. So I'll always be grateful to Herbalife for everything I've got. But if you want me to be honest with you, I've never been so excited about this opportunity as I am today. If there was ever a time to be part of this business, it's right now. So are you ready to get into some basic concepts and principles? So get your pens out and let's get started. Now, you see this on your screen? Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what is that, Alf? You know, is that a mountain range in Switzerland or is that a worm? No, guys, that is a distributor psychic. As distributors and as supervisors and as president's team and as Hall of Famers, we all have ups and downs. And the important thing you need to learn is it doesn't matter what happens. What really matters is what you're going to do about it. That's what's going to set you up to navigate and go through your growing process, because this is not a journey from A to B, all right? This is not, I'm going from where I am today to where I want to be tomorrow. No, this is a process and it's full of obstacles and you're going to have to deal with them. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's going to be worth it, okay? So, what's going to make the biggest difference is you need to be prepared. You need to be ready because the next few years are going to be short of unbelievable, okay? And again, are you ready? Yes, say I'm ready. All right, so the first concept I want to share with you, it's really very important to understand that our business is based on 3 pillars. Number 1 is the products. We're not going to get into that today. All you need to do is understand that you can't change the products. All you need to focus on is use them massively and get everybody around you who you come in contact with to seriously use the products, because if there was ever a time to use the products, it's right now. Number 2 pillar is the marketing plan. Again, you can't change the marketing plan. Like we have doctors for the products, we have executives, they run the whole company. All you got to do, use the marketing plan. You're not competing with anybody. You're competing with the marketing plan. So set your goals and make sure that you stay focused and use the marketing plan, because it's the most unbelievable marketing plan on the planet. The third element, the third pillar, the most important one, the only variable is you. You can work on yourself. You can improve yourself 1 inch at the time. And if you understand that really all that matters is that you work harder on yourself than you do on your customers and your distributors, and you remember that, you'll be fine. You'll really go a long way, because we can all become better listeners. We can all become more disciplined. We can all become more efficient. We can all become more consistent. We can all have a better attitude. All these things we can improve, and it needs to be a lifetime commitment. It's not something you're going to use it for a few days and then you're all set. Oh no, I got it now, Alf. No, this is like the product. If you use it every day, it works. It's like physical exercise. If you do it regularly, it works. So why not feed and nourish your brain with all the good stuff you need to have the right mental attitudes? Concept number 2, as a supervisor, you need to be clear on the definition of our business, so that, remember this phrase, my perception becomes your reality. Your perception becomes the reality of the person that you're talking to. So if you have an understanding of the business definition, you'll be better prepared to communicate our business opportunity. So write this down. We are in the business of distributing Herbalife products directly to customers, providing high value service for lasting results. I repeat, we are in the business of distributing Herbalife products directly to customers, providing high value service for lasting results. And B, we are in the business of distributing Herbalife products indirectly by building a network of independent distributors who in turn distribute products directly and also distribute products indirectly by building a network of independent distributors. Okay, so if you analyze that, it's a lot of stuff. So if you want to have a successful, solid, lasting business, you got to make sure that you're focused on the things that will make your business last and be solid. And that's what we're going to be talking about. This is why we can earn up to 73%, because we provide tremendous value out there in the marketplace. So think about it, 73%, it's a huge amount. If you understand the value of that, making a decision to get active and to get serious about your business will not be difficult at all. So as we discuss our business model, we need to understand that on one side, you're going to have the personal touch. That's what's going to provide your direct income or your active income or your retail income. And then on the other side, you have the network effect, which will provide your passive income and your indirect income. Now, I know these things seem so logical and simple, and they are, but you need to grasp this, not just intellectually, you need to grab this emotionally. This needs to become part of your DNA. So when you're talking to people, people can see that you really know and believe what you're talking about. It's a bit like the difference between going to work to get a salary or collecting income from an asset, whether it's a house, a business, a fund, or dividends. So the opportunity that we have right now, it's extremely valuable. Just think about how many people out there right now are looking for opportunity. I call it direct social marketing. Our business model is based on this principle. Lots of people taking care of a few customers and distributors, not just customers, distributors and customers, as opposed to just a few people taking care of a lot of customers and a lot of distributors. Our business model to grow and be sustainable needs to be sustainable so we can scale it, so we can grow and expand our business. All right. Now, focus on building healthy personal production. You've all seen at some point, and if not, you can look it up on My Herbalife, what we call the house, the volume, the healthy volume, the house concept. All right. That's what we call building healthy personal production. Also, you need to focus on building healthy duplication, because if you are going to be building your business and go up in the marketing plan, it's not going to be enough doing what you do correctly, but you're going to make sure that the people in your business are doing the right thing. So you're duplicating yourself the right way. Okay? Focus on what you can control yourself instead of what you can't control. That will save you tremendous amount of time. I see a lot of supervisors. I was like that. I used to get all excited about all kinds of things that had nothing to do with my business. And at the end of the day, it wasn't helping me build my business. Okay, concept number 3, the power of the network effect. Now, there is no limit. You are the only limit. And I'm going to explain it in this simple way. You have to become, or you have to learn, number 1, how to build a network of customers, right? We don't just want to have happy customers. We want happy customers that bring other happy customers. So you're kind of building a network. That's going to be your first level, which obviously you're already as a supervisor, but it's important that when you are training your distributors, that you show them these concepts so that they learn how to build their business. Number two, you're going to learn how to build a network of distributors. Number three, a network of active distributors, because a lot of people are going to sign up, but they won't do anything, just like many customers buy the products once and they don't continue. Then you're going to learn to build a network of supervisors, then a network of active supervisors, world team, then active world team. Then one day you learn to build a network of get team members. One day you learn to build a network of millionaire team members. When I heard this, I thought, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'm never going to be able to do that. Today, I've got gazillions of millionaire team members in my network. You understand? Then you learn to build a network of president's team. When I became president's team, I thought, wow, no one's going to make it to president's team. All of a sudden, I had one and then another one, and now I have 46. And then the beauty is when you learn how to develop a network of bonus, Mark Hughes bonus winners. And then you get to the Hall of Fame, which for me, it's a bit like the Nobel Prize. You know, once you've made it to that level, it means you've done a good job. Now, one of my heroes, Dr. Ignaro, the Nobel Prize, who makes our Nightworks product, the guy's a really nice doctor. And he tells the story. He always says that don't focus on the result, focus on the process. You know, don't be like a manager that is worried about what people are doing. You know, just focus on adding more people so you act like a leader. And Dr. Ignaro tells the story when he was at a meeting in the south of France in Nice, and he was getting on a plane to go to Naples to do another presentation. As he got off the plane, he could see all these gazillions of people and photographers, and he couldn't understand what was going on. And one of his friends comes up and he says, Lou, I just wanted to let you know, it's official. You won the Nobel Prize. And the guy was shocked. But the point is, you know, we all want to get to the next level. We're all talking about the GET team and the millionaire team and the president's team. That needs to be your goal. But then on a day-to-day basis, you want to be focused on the process of building your business. I'm sure you've heard this concept before. It's called Sinaloa, S-I-N-A-L-O-A, Sinaloa. Well, that's just a name. It's a region in Mexico, but it stands for this: safety in numbers adds to the law of average. This is very important because very often we can get mistracked by what people are not doing instead of focusing on what we should be doing. And that's why this Sinaloa, it's a good way to remember that if you want to have a continuous number of people joining your business, you need to be adding people to your business, okay? You can only make two mistakes in this business. Number one is to quit. And number two is don't take massive action. It's okay if you just want to cruise along and make a few $100 extra. No problem with that. But we are here to show you the big picture, the big opportunity that you have with Herbalife. Why not? Why not you, and why not now? Our business model, our marketing plan, offers us something very powerful. It's the power of leverage. It's where you can apply certain force, but get a much better return for the effort that you've applied. Now, in the business world, when people talk about leverage, that involves a lot of risk. But in our business, there is no risk. You know, that's something that you need to understand, because you could multiply your business 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. There is no limit. Okay. So I remember many years ago at a leadership training with Mark Hughes, and during the break, there was a few of us talking to Mark, and one of the top leaders goes up to Mark and says, I have a question, Mark. I'm a bit concerned because I'm stuck at 1 million volume points a month with my organization. And I'd like to know, what's the plan? What's your advice? What would be the ideal plan to get to 2 million volume points a month? And Mark Hughes looked at him and said, you really want to know? Listen, it's very simple. Just do everything you did to get to 1 million again. You see, there is no specific plan to get to this level, to get to that level, to get to that level. It's more of the same. It's just more numbers. So don't buy any more excuses. Just get going. Concept number 4 is what I call the navigator, or the GPS concept. Now, if we look at Mark Hughes as an example, it's quite an amazing, it is an unbelievable story that a young man at that age, because you see, Mark didn't have a plan. Mark had a dream. You know, he had a very clear dream in his mind that he was going to change the nutritional habits of the world. Now, we will never achieve that dream. That's why it's a big dream. It's a good dream. But he had a clear vision of where he was going to go and how he was going to live his life and what was going to be achieved. And I've studied different people like Mark Hughes and Steve Jobs and all the big successful entrepreneurs, and they all have a few things in common. Number 1, write this down: vision. You got to have a clear vision right now. Maybe you don't have a clear vision for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, fine. But at least set yourself up for the next year. You want to see yourself where you want to be in a year's time, and believe it. And this has to do with why you're doing what you're doing. You got to know why you're doing this. Are you doing Herbalife just because you want to make some extra money? Are you doing this because you're bored? You've got nothing else to do? Or are you doing this because there's something greater than all of this that is driving you to go to the next level and build an independent business? You decide that. No one else can give you that. So number 1, vision. It's determined by why you're doing this. That's the most important of all, because unless that is clear, you could end up like the sailor that gets on a sailing boat and he doesn't have a plan or a destination. He will end up wherever the wind takes him. And that's what happens to a lot of people in Herbalife. They end up wherever they end up, you know, but they're not clear on where they're going with the business. Number 2, philosophy. Now, philosophy is very important because it will help you make the right choices. And philosophy also has to do with why we are doing this. It's all about, you know, your ethics. How are you going to behave in the marketplace? How are you going to be remembered? How are you going to act on a day-to-day basis when no one's watching? That is very important. So that's like 50% has to do with why you're going to do this business. Number 3 is your strategy. Strategy has to do with how we do things. You know, Mark Hughes was very young, but he was definitely a visionary and a genius because he understood that he had to keep his strategy very simple. And it's 6 words. It's use the products, wear the button, talk to people. And then it's fun, simple, magical. Why would he choose something like that? Because this is very simple to teach. Who could learn these things? Who can learn to use the product? Who can learn to wear a button or make yourself known, wear the brand? Who could talk to people about the products and the business? Anybody. Who wants to have fun? Who likes fun? Everybody likes fun. Who likes simple things? Everybody likes simple things. And then the magic arrives. So that's the strategy. And number 4 is the tactics. Now, over the years, we've used different tools to build our businesses. We use different tactics, and these will change over time. When I joined Herbalife, there was no internet, there was no email, there was no social media. In a few years from now, there'll be a bunch of things we don't have now. It doesn't make any difference. Remember, everything works as long as you use it. And when remembering this concept of the navigator, which keeps you on track, just like when you get in your car, you want to go somewhere, it tells you go right, go left, stop now, keep going, whatever. You just need to understand that at the end of the day, like I said, the strategy has to do with how we do things, but the tactics, it's what we do. In the end of the day, what is it that we do? Customers and distributors. Customers and distributors. And you got to find the things that work for you. If you're making less than $50,000 a year right now, work with your sponsor, work with your upline, okay? Stick to the plan, get going, and then you can be a bit more creative. You also need a mixture of empathy and leadership. This is why women are so successful in Herbalife, because they have empathy. Most of us men don't have tremendous empathy, all right? So you need a balance, empathy and leadership. And then all we want is to win the hearts and the minds of people. Hearts first and then minds. And that's where the power of the stories come in, which we'll get into in a minute. The other fundamental element that puts all of this together is the support system. Wherever you are in the world, I'm sure there's a support system that you can be part of, where they're doing presentations, meetings, activities, things that are happening. And then, of course, there's the global Herbalife support system. Make sure that you understand why the support system is so important. It's very simple. All the meetings, any meeting, any training, they're all important, because every meeting will provide inspiration. Every meeting will help you deal with the ups and downs that we talked about before. All of us, every 90 days, need someone to remind ourselves that we made the right choice, that we are at the right place at the right time. We all need it. Even I need it after 31 years in the business, because we are humans. We have ups and downs. It's perfectly normal. The important thing is, what do you do about it? And that's why the support system, that's why this supervisor school is so important. All right. And we're going to have the most unbelievable supervisor schools every month forever. Okay. We're going to give everybody the opportunity to learn the concepts, the principles that build this business in 95 countries. That is tremendous value. So the support system will help you by inspiration. I don't care how good you are, you'll never be as good as any event and all the stories involved in it. Number 3, the events will give you leverage. I mean, how many of you would love to have 300 supervisors in this supervisor school? Can you imagine? You can do in a couple of hours the work that it would take months to do, by having the ability to understand that you need to use the support systems, the trainings, the meetings, the activities. They are there for you to use them to parlay the business, the people, to the next level and give them the exposure. If I'd never gone to that first extravaganza, I wouldn't have had that big picture that I have today. All right? The stories, the power of the stories is the most important. And just so that you understand, every meeting, every training, every event you divide it in 3 parts. To get the most out of every training and event, you need to understand the following. 1/3 of the results will depend on what you do before the event, what you did before this supervisor school. All right. Did you wait till the last minute to promote it? Or as soon as you learned about it, you didn't think, you acted? That's what's going to make 1/3 of the difference. Another third will depend on the event. And I'm telling you, you can be sure that these are going to become the most powerful supervisor schools in the whole planet of Herbalife, just by the number of speakers that we're going to have and the experience level and the understanding of the business that all of these speakers have. So the other third of the benefit or result of the event, it's what you're going to do after the event. So when this supervisor school finishes, what are you going to do with all this information? Are you just going to put it away in another journal and sit back to your comfort zone and do nothing about it? Or are you going to take action immediately and make it happen? That's what's going to determine 1/3 of the return that you get out of this event. Okay. Concept number 5. The 7 skills to build your business. We've talked about the ups and downs. We've talked about the definition of the business, and we've talked about some basic concepts regarding the business. Now, how do we materialize this? How do we make it a reality? Why do we get paid? Why do we earn money? Very important concept. 7 skills. That's all you need to develop in this business. And if you understand it, not just intellectually, but emotionally, this becomes part of you, okay? If I ask you, what's your name? What's your name? You don't need to look at a paper or a book, it's part of you. So this needs to become part of you. The first skill that we need to develop as distributors is prospecting. Now, prospecting is the name, is what I call the art of prospecting. It's the most important because it's the first, and it's the ability to identify the people that you're going to go and talk to about the products or the business. All these concepts are exactly the same for retailing the product or for sponsoring new distributors. Makes no difference. Prospecting is an art. And it's something that needs to be part of your daily routine. I teach my distributors to get a notebook, and they call it the active prospecting book. Why active? Because I teach them to add 2 or 3 names every day. People say, Alf, but I know 100 people. No, not 100 people. Just 2 or 3, but every day. Because, in today's technological world, everybody grabs their phone and they just go through the names. I say, no, grab a piece of paper and a pen so you activate your brain and you start thinking and dreaming of the organization that we're going to build in your head by remembering everybody that you know on the planet. You don't say, oh, he's not interested, she's too busy. That's up to them. You know them, they go in your book. If you're part-time, 1-2 hours a day, great. 5 minutes a day, you add names to your active prospecting, because you see, what most people don't understand about prospecting, it's not about the people you know. It's about the people they know. You see, when I'm talking to somebody, I don't care what they do. All I care is that I can get into their circle of influence. That's where the power of our business lies. But very few people really know how to do that successfully and consistently. But that's the easiest way to build your business. All right. So you need to have a number on a daily basis that you're going to prospect. All right. And you need to distinguish circle of influence and then everybody else. It's what we call primary market and secondary market. But first, become good at working the circle of influence. Then you can go and deal with the secondary market. Number 2, inviting. Inviting people is inviting people. How many of you had a wedding? How many of you had a party in your life? What do? You call people up, you say, Angela, by the way, tomorrow night, dinner party at my place. See you tomorrow. You don't go on the phone. Hello, Angela. Well, by the way, tomorrow we're going to have a dinner party. It's going to be lovely. There's going to be a lot of this, a lot of that. Person is coming. That's coming. We're all going to dress like this. You bore people to death. No one's going to show up. So when you're inviting people, you're not presenting, you're inviting. It needs to be quick, sharp, and enticing. All right. You don't need to give detail. When I called the ad and Mary answered the phone, she went, hello. She didn't explain Herbalife. I would have never gone to the meeting. She just said, yeah, California company, rapidly expanding in Spain, possibility to earn this much, that much. We're going to be interviewing people on Tuesday night, 1945. Write down the address. And when you get there, ask for me, Mary Habib. Boom. I was curious. You want people to be curious. Right now, people are looking for excitement. Let's put it that way. Number 3, presenting. The art of presenting. I could go on about this for hours, but let's keep it simple. Presenting effectively needs to be 1. It's not about you or the presentation. It's about how many people see the presentation. Okay? Number 2, when you're presenting, you need to be clear what is it that you're presenting. And one simple formula that works like a charm goes like this. First, you cover the problem, the reality of the problem that you're presenting or the situation, the facts. Then you talk about why it's not working. Number 3, you talk about your solution. Number 4, why is it better? Not your opinion, the facts. And number 5, why are you entitled? Your story. And then number 6, more stories. That's basically the structure when you're presenting effectively. So you want people to be taking action. Number 4, it's follow-up. It's no good presenting and inviting and prospecting if you're not ready to follow up. Have you ever been to the beach? What if you grab the sand with your hand and you keep your hand closed, you hold on to the sand, but as soon as you open your fingers, the sand falls back onto the beach. Well, that's follow-up. The real money is in the follow-up, all right? If you just sell products and sponsor people, you'll make a good living. But if you follow up correctly, you can get seriously rich. I mean, when I think about my customer, Dolores, that I talked to you, I did such a good follow-up. She gave me 20 referrals. And these people used to call me and say, hello, are you the doctor that sells the herbs? They wanted the products immediately. And because of that, there's now an organization in Spain that's enormous, okay? Follow-up. Number 5, closing. It's no good doing all this work if you're not prepared to close. Ask for the money. People expect you to ask for the money. Okay, don't be shy, because this is pure value. This is real gold. This is serious value, okay? And you need to make yourself valuable, because people are not just buying a product, they're buying a service that you're going to provide to them. And the same for the business. Number 6 is activating. This is where everything really starts. So think about it. It's 5 steps to get to the nitty-gritty, the real meat, the activation. It's no good having customers and distributors if you don't learn to activate them. We're not in the business of just adding people. We're in the business of developing people. That's the big difference. It's hard work, yes, but it's worth it. All right. activating, it's really where it all starts. And you know, if you remember Mark Hughes, you tell people what to do, you show people what to do, they try, and then they do it on their own. That's what developing people it's all about. Okay, so it takes time, you got to put in the effort, but if you do it, then the magic of Everlife shows up, and you can have a check go from a few $100s to a few $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars, and then one day to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And number 7, promoting. You see, why is it the last one? Because it's no good promoting if you don't have new people to promote things to. If you're always promoting to the same people, you're going to bore them to death, and you're going to become just like a boring manager that's trying to suck blood out of your organization instead of going out there and building more lines, more customers, more distributors. And that's where the magic really is. All right. Good. We've talked about a lot of stuff, and now I'm going to cover a few of what I call the disadvantages or the mind fluctuations. Remember the up and down that we talked about? This is very important because, you know, I told you my story, and you'll hear many stories in Herbalife, and sometimes it seems like everything works for us. It's all great. It's all unbelievable. It's all fantastic. But it's not always like that. You know, at a certain point in everybody's business, you're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit an obstacle, and you're going to be stuck. And you're not going to know why. Why is it happening to me? Why me? And this is why you need to understand these concepts, so that when it happens, you say, okay, I know what to do now, how to get out of this obstacle and keep the process of growth going. So, number 1, write this down. Reinventing the wheel. Just keep it simple. I said it before, it's hard work, but it's worth it. At the end of the day, guys, it's all about talking to people. Talking to people about the products and talking to people about the business. We just make it more complicated. And over the years, it's just my opinion, I look around and I see some people have just made it a bit too complicated for my liking. All right. Number 2, that small time attitude. I don't care where you are, who you are, what's your situation right now. Okay. I am sure there's been somebody just like you in that position who got out and made it happen. You might be part-time. You might not have a lot of time. You can still have the gold mine attitude. Don't look at this like a little business, a little hobby, okay? If you don't have a lot of time, time is not the issue. It's what do you do with the time that you have that it's the issue. You know, how many times you've heard somebody say, oh, Angela, I don't have time, right? Many times. Well, we all have time. We all have 24 hours. It's what you do with them that makes the difference. To make it big, you have to think and act big. It's not good enough just thinking big. That's the first step. But you got to act big. You got to go out there and make it happen. Okay? And you want to make sure that people that come in contact with you, they can see that Greek god inside of you come out. You know, I don't know. I'm sure some of you have had a situation where you're talking to somebody and you don't really understand everything they're talking about, but you really understand that they know what they're doing. Has it ever happened to you? All right. Well, that's what people are looking for, a leader, somebody that knows the direction. You can start in your own home and then in your own area, and then your own town or city, and one day your country, and one day international. When I remember started in the Alaska, and I used to think, poor me, I'm just a supervisor. I don't have experience. I don't know many people. I don't have any money. And I quickly learned that that kind of attitude ain't going to get you very far. And it doesn't cost anything to think big. So I understood and I took action. So number 3, don't make yourself the issue. Making yourself the issue is a big problem. You're just the messenger, not the message. Learn to use the power of telling stories. The best way to teach something to anybody is through a story. It's the most powerful and efficient way to communicate. Your upline has a vested interest in you. Use it, okay? And start to see yourself as a leader, but stay humble. The reason why we are successful in Herbalife, it's because we have products that do more than we can say they do. And we have a marketing plan that allows us to take tremendous value to the marketplace. And the leadership and personal development that we have access to in Herbalife. You know, I think when I started my business, and I remember I didn't understand a lot of things. And at school, I was never a good student, but I wasn't stupid or anything like that. It's just that I wasn't interested. But when I joined Herbalife and I started listening to Mark Hughes and Jim Rohn, I thought, wow. You know, I remember being at the Supervisor School in Los Angeles, my first extravaganza, and Jim was talking and I felt like he was talking to me. And then at one point he said, everybody in this room can have more in your life. And then he paused like he used to and he said, because everybody in the room can become more. And I thought, wow, I've never heard anything like that before. I got really, really excited about that. So stay humble and don't be the issue. Number 4, taking rejection personally. This is a big one. Look, it's about timing. If it's the right time, they will do it. If it's not the right time, they won't do it. Don't take it personally. At one of my early supervisor schools, supervisor schools, I learned something very useful that I want to share with you. Another thing is, remember, it's not about you or the presentation, okay? Amongst all the 500 people, wow, 500 people right now are listening. I'm impressed. 500 people, between all of us, between the worst presenter and the best presenter, there isn't much difference, okay? There's only so much you can put into a presentation. So again, what I said before, it's all about how many people listen to your presentation. So, simple concept, because we can't get rid of negativity, we can't get rid of rejection, and nobody likes it, okay? But we can learn to handle it, manage it, administer it. How do we do that? Learning and understanding why we get paid, right? We already discussed why we get paid, which is basically what we covered before. But to make a simple example, we're all supervisors. Let's assume that we're going to go and sell $100 worth of products. As a supervisor, how much profit will you make? $50. Okay, more or less. It's just an example. Fine. If I'm asking every one of you one by one on the chat now, why did you make $50? I bet you 90% will say, because you sold a program for $100, correct? No. The only reason why you made $50 when you sold $100 to your customer is because in order to get to that customer, you talk to 10 people, because we know what I said before, Sinaloa, the law of average adds, no, safety in numbers adds to the law of average. Globally, around the world, we know that if you talk to 10 people about the business or the product, more or less one person will be interested. Maybe you're better and you get 2 or 3, I know that, but just to keep it simple. So if I need to talk to 10 to make one sale, it makes only sense that if I earn 50, I don't divide the 50 by one that bought it, but I divide it by 10 people that I talk to. Okay? So if you divide $50 you made by 10 people you talk to, it means that every time you talk to somebody, anyway, whether they buy it or not, you're making $5. All right? So when you go and talk to your next time you go and talk to your brother Christian, and you put on the best presentation in the world, you're looking good, you're wearing your button, you got your products, you're in good shape, you're all excited, you're looking fantastic, and you do the presentation to your brother Christopher, and when it's finished, your brother looks at you like with disgust, and he says, "Don't ever talk to me about Herbalife again." Now, normally, what would you do? Boom. You go down, okay? Now I'm going to teach you what to do. The first thing you do is you hug him like he's never been hugged before. And you look at him straight in the eye and you say, "Dear brother Christian, I'm so grateful you gave me the opportunity to talk to you because they just paid me $5. Thank you very much. See you soon." That's the way I deal with it. You get rid of negativity in 2 seconds and you move on, talk to the next person. All right, got that? Concept number 5. Neglecting retail or sponsoring or training. Now, remember, we are in the business of duplication. Your people do what you do, not what you say. Example, I used to think, well, I don't need to go to another training. I've already been to a training, okay? I don't have time every week to go this, do that. It's too expensive. And I quickly realized that that's small thinking. And that in every training, in every opportunity, there was a big opportunity for me to learn something, to expose the opportunity to other people. So keep a balance in your business. You don't have to be the best at anything. You just need to be good at doing a few things all the time so that eventually you can get lots of people doing the same that you are doing because they're just copying you. Number 6, listening to the dream stealers. Wow, this is big. How many of you like Pink Floyd? Well, there's a song that they wrote, very famous. It says, "Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts?" This is very important. Be aware of family and friends, neighbors, co-workers, the media, internet. It's full of it, you know? Don't let anybody or anything steal your dreams. It's very important. That's why Mark Hughes, when he used to train his early distributors, one of the first things he taught them is 90% opinion, 10% fact. Why did he do that? Because he wanted their distributors to learn that out there, there's a lot of opinions. There's nothing we can do. We're not going to change people's opinions by just engaging in a discussion to see who's stronger, which is what I did with my mom, by the way. And she got really pissed off and I got really depressed. Funnily enough, my mom, 9 years later or so, she goes to visit a friend of hers, and she hadn't seen her for a long time. And this friend had lost weight. She was looking great. And my mom said, "Oh, Maureen, what are you doing? You look fantastic." And this lady said, "Oh, I'm using Herbalife." And my mom said, "Herbalife? My son sells Herbalife." She had the audacity to call me and say, "Alfred, why didn't you ever tell me about Herbalife?" Of course, it's my mother. So what am I going to do? So anyway, 90% opinion, 10% facts. Concept number 7, abusing your sponsor. Now, this is a big one too. Take responsibility right now. I'll give you an example. When Mary came to Spain and she sponsored me, she taught me everything there is to learn, the basics to build the business. She taught me how to prospect, how to invite, how to present, how to follow up, how to close people, how to activate people, and how to promote. And we did that a number of times with 72-hour plans. And I learned how to deal with circle of influence. And then I learned how to deal with people I didn't know. And I learned all the things that we're talking about. And you know what? After 3 months, she left. She went back to Arizona, where she came from. I never saw her again. It's the best thing she ever did. Right now, it's the best time to take responsibility and make it happen. You know why? Because right now, there's a lot of people that are emotionally beaten up. A lot of people are losing hope. A lot of people are desperate. A lot of people are looking for opportunity. And what they're looking for is guidance, hope. They're looking for somebody that's going to, hey, you're willing to learn? I'm going to show you. My sponsor, she said something that shaped me for the rest of my life. She said, after I signed up, before I left that first meeting, she said, "Alf, if you will be able to develop a burning desire to improve yourself personally and financially," and then she said, "if you'll be able to be consistent no matter what happens," and then she said, "if you'll be able to stay teachable and follow directions, you are already qualified to be successful." Those simple 3 things. That's all you need to understand. Okay? So don't take your sponsor for granted, and make sure you build a great relationship with your sponsor. I haven't seen her. We met again many, many years later on the cruise with Hughes because she qualified with the royalties. I'll forever be grateful because she gave me the opportunity to join this unbelievable opportunity, just like your sponsor gave you the opportunity. Try and build a mixture of empathy and hard love, and be careful with those relationships between friendly and business, because sometimes we attract friends into the business. It's important that you learn to keep business as business, all right? Because duplication, what you do is what people do, and what people see you do, and people are going to be watching you all the time, believe me, online, offline, doesn't make any difference. Actually, seems worse now online. Okay, we've looked at disadvantages. Who's ready for the advantages? Yes? Ready? Okay, let's move into gear now. Advantages. Number 1 advantage. You have the possibility to dream big. It's up to you. Most people don't dream because they think that's something you did when you were younger. I'm telling you, learn to dream big. And I love the example from the founder of CNN, Mr. Ted Turner. He used to tell his employees and colleagues to dream big. And he used to say to them, make sure that you dream so big that when you share your dream with other people, they all start laughing. That's a good dream. Look at Mark Hughes, 23 years old, with a baggie full of powder. He had the courage to tell people we're going to change the nutritional habits of the world. Now that is a dream. So set your dream in motion, because if you don't do it, nobody will do it for you, believe me. Also learn the power of affirmations. I'm not going to get into it. I do this in leadership trainings, but you can research and find the basics on how to set up affirmations, because we all come into this business conditioned by our environment, all right? And we grow up in our environment. So when we join Herbalife, most of us, we are conditioned. We have paradigmas. We don't necessarily accept everything that they share with us initially. So just like the body needs to be trained every day, just like the body needs nutrition every day, your subconscious mind, which takes care of your emotions, your dreams, your desires, needs to be trained, needs to be told what to do for you. It works for you, and it works like a charm, just like learning the concept of your dream board. How many of you have children? Okay, I have 3 daughters, and many years ago, it was a rainy day, and we were in the house. I said, girls, I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to teach you about the dream board. And they all went, I'm not interested. But one of them, Sophia, said, yes, Daddy, I want to learn. So we had a board, and I explained, and she started cutting from magazines all the pictures of all the things that she had thought of that she wanted. Well, let me tell you something. This is a true story. Within 2 years, everything that she put on that board, and she was only like 9 or 10 years old, everything she accomplished. So I'm telling you, it's up to you. All right? Work on your life design, because otherwise somebody else is going to design the life for you. Herbalife, it's an unbelievable vehicle that will allow you to get to wherever you want to go. But you need to go, you need to know, where is it that I'm going to go? How is it that I'm going to go? What's the lifestyle I'm going to build? What's it going to be for me and my family? You got to visualize that. You got to believe it. And that will give you the energy to put all the energy and the focus into building your Herbalife business with these simple concepts. No matter what the tools you want to use, online, offline, whatever it is, no problem. Okay. Number 2, take advantage of the 4th wave of our industry. I'm talking about the network marketing industry. For me, now it's called back to basics. It's called back to adding and developing customers, back to adding and developing distributors. It's called planting seeds. Now, there's never been a better time, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but why now? Look, we've already been doing this for 40 years. It hasn't been easy. We've had 40 springs, 40 summers, 40 autumns or falls, and 40 winters. We've had plenty of up and down. But look at it. By golly, here we are, 95 countries, $8.9 billion, and we just had the best year ever. And I believe last month was probably the best month in the history of the company. So we are experiencing the biggest growth period in the company. And for the first time in a long time, the people that have been in the business know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the first time, we have global momentum, we have regional momentum, we have national momentum. Now, I'm not saying right now it's completely out of control everywhere, but we are certainly getting there. And the question you need to ask yourself, what about me? Do you have momentum right now in your business? Do you have personal momentum? Guess what? You can start right now. This is the beauty of this business. You can start right now to build your business again. It's the best time ever. Why? There are more people looking, there are more people paying attention, and there are more people acting towards our solutions. Remember the questions I asked you at the beginning? The health challenges and the financial challenges, okay? These are two of the biggest challenges facing the world today. And this is going to be the same for many, many years to come. And let me tell you something. Mark Hughes always used to say this business is not for people that need it. This business is for people that deserve it, okay? You got to understand that if you're here, first of all, it's not just by chance, but you've been selected to be part of one of the most honorable missions in the world of business. And if you just understand these simple concepts, you can take your business from wherever you are now to wherever is it that you want to go, all right? The working world has changed forever. It used to be that people would be paid for their skills and their time, but more and more people into the future are going to be paid by their performance and the value they bring to the market. That's the new economy. And another factor that's making a huge difference, for the first time in history, there are 5 generations of all the ages that are interconnected in the marketplace. And we are in the middle of what's called smart working. More and more people are learning about the opportunity to smart work. It doesn't matter where you are. If you have a mobile phone, if you have a computer, you can build a business. Think about it, okay? This is the best low-cost solution for the majority of people to become an entrepreneur. No risk. All you got to do is try one step at a time. So don't look at your business where you are now as a supervisor, whether you're a world team or a get team or a millionaire team, wherever. Start looking into the future, because Herbalife is going to grow more in the next 10, 20 years than we've ever grown before. Number 3 concept, mastering momentum, what I call the train concept. How many of you have been to a station to get onto a train, right? You get to the station, and then you go and find, where is your train? You get onto your train, and right there, the train is just standing in the station. There's a long, big thing, metal. It doesn't really have a lot of value. Then you get onto your train, you sit down, you make your shake or your Herbalife tea, and there's other people joining. They're all settling in. Nothing much is happening. And at a certain point, they give the signal for the train to leave. And it starts moving so slowly that you can't even tell that it's moving. You can only tell because you can see the people being left behind. And then at a certain point, the train leaves the station and picks up a bit more speed. And then at a certain point, it really gets going and it gets to the top speed. And at that point, anything that hits the train ain't gonna stop it because it's got serious momentum. Okay, so this is all about building your momentum. And all you need to do is understand, number one, first step is creating the momentum. To create the momentum, all you need to do, add new customers and add new distributors and develop them. All right, but add them. Keep focusing on adding new customers and distributors. Don't just add people and hope that it's going to work. You got to put the effort and you got to develop them, activate them, and that kind of thing. It could be 90 days plus 90 days plus 90 days, or 30 days plus 30 days plus 30 days. Step number two, sustain the momentum. So what am I supposed to do? The same thing. Keep adding distributors, keep adding customers and develop them. All right. And then third step, it's what we call advancing the momentum. Now, this is the tricky part because by now, whether it's 90 days or 30 days, you're going to have results. You're going to have things happening and you're going to get all excited about things happening and you're going to get distracted and you're going to start managing your business instead of leading your business. And then you're not going to understand. At the beginning, you think, well, it's fine. I'm doing the right thing because nothing is changing. But at a certain point, your business will slow down and you won't understand why this is happening because you don't understand that what you're getting paid today is what you did yesterday. What you do today is what you're going to get paid tomorrow. How many of you like basketball? You know, basketball is a very quick game. When the game starts, there's always 2 points, 2 points over there, and then 2 here, and then 3 there, and then 2 here. And it's very fast. They're all moving. The ball is going from one end to the other all the time. But at a certain point, the coach calls the players and pulls them for a break and pulls the ear because the coach understands momentum. Because these players, some of them are very good, and they stop doing the basics, the plan that they set out to play, and they move from their position and they start improvising and they slow down the momentum. So that's when the good coach calls them and tells them off. So they go back to the basics to get the momentum going again. And that's exactly the same with our business. Okay? That's why it's so important being part of a support system, knowing what's in the calendar that I can use to build my business. What are the events? What are the presentations? So you don't want to be one of those people that your sponsor is going to keep calling you all your time to tell you, do this, do that. You want to be independent. You want to take responsibility. That's how you grow. And if you make mistakes, no problem. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn, the further you'll go. Trust me. Now, when you're building your business, as well as understanding the momentum concept that I just shared with you, there's another concept you have to understand is what we call 80-15-5. What does this mean? Okay. There's never been a better time in the world to build your Herbalife business. Okay? And we've already discussed why. It's not just because I woke up this morning very positive and no, there's plenty of reasons why. Okay? Now, in order to perform well in the market, you need to understand the reality in the market. And 80% of the potential of the possible suspects or candidates for your business, whether it's customers or distributors, remember this, it's important, 80% of them will do nothing or very little. These are people that don't want to get too far away from the comfort zone. They're not necessarily willing to get involved in anything too complicated. They just maybe just want a few products, maybe sell a few little things, but they're not really looking to make any major changes to build a business or anything like that. It's a bit like, you've heard of the brand Virgin Atlantic, these gyms, right? If you don't, doesn't matter. Just think of a big gym. Now, if you can imagine somebody paying to become a member of the gym, what I'm trying to say to you that 80% of people that go to a gym are people that, yes, they're going to buy the cool clothes, they're going to buy some drink or some product to look the part, and then they go to the gym, and they are the sort of people that would lean on the treadmill and take pictures of the girls or chat with the people and just socialize. They're not really going to the gym to be like doing things. They just want to hang out there. They like the atmosphere. They like to be seen there. They like to be part of it. Now, the owner of the gym doesn't come and says, "Oh, what are you doing here? You should be doing exercise. Get out of here." No, because they would leave, right? So the owner of the gym understands that he has to keep them happy, keep them around. Well, that's the same thing. Remember, 80% of those people, all you need to do is try and keep them around. Don't ask for any more, because they won't do any more. But they might change. The other 15%, it's the other segment of the market. These are people that already have a lifestyle. They probably have a job. They already got something going, but they're looking for an alternative. They're looking for a B plan. They're looking for something else, okay? They are insatisfied in some way or another. So these are the people that you want to attract, that are looking to make that extra $1,500, $2,000 perhaps, or less. And then there's the 5%. Those are the people like us, no limits. When I joined Herbalife, after a few weeks, I knew this was going to be my profession for the rest of my life. I made a lot of mistakes and I had doubts at some point, but I stayed focused. But sometimes people from the 80% pool might go to the 15%. The 15% is the guy that goes to the gym, he wears the gear and he gets on the treadmill, he does the exercise, he does sweat. And then there's the 5%, it's like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of this world, the real professionals that really do the exercise, no limits, okay, whatever it takes. But just understand that all you can do is measure people's level of activity. You cannot make them do things. You know, you focus on you, make sure that you keep the support system around, make sure that you keep the right environment around, and you just focus on what you need to do, which is get more people. Number 4, learn to ride the biggest global trend, what we call the $4.5 trillion trend, which is 3.5 times bigger than Big Pharma. This is what we call the wellness revolution or evolution. It started as a revolution in the 90s. Nobody knew about it very much. Nobody paid much attention. We did. Then in the 2000s, it became an evolution. And it went from 200 billion to $1 trillion. I mean, all of the industry, all of the companies. Today, it's a trend on its way to $5 trillion. This is going to be the biggest business trend of the century. Why? Because people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. more people are looking for opportunity than ever before. Remember Paul Zane Pilzer, he said 3 things that stuck with me. He said the companies that are going to fly and be the leaders in the wellness revolution are the companies that understand, number one, how to unite the power of the personal touch with the new technologies. What do we do? Exactly that. He said, the companies that will thrive are the companies that go beyond selling and understand the power of educating customers. What do we do? Exactly. And then he said, the companies that are going to thrive are the companies that are involved in distribution of wellness products and services. What do we do? So there you are. Number 5, shifting from a centralized world to a decentralized world. Right now, today, as we speak, there is 4.6 billion people on this planet that are connected to the internet on a daily basis. It's unbelievable. We've never been so connected. For many other aspects, we are disconnected, but let's focus on the business. Only 0.01% of these people are making money online. The e-learning industry, it's a $250 billion industry. You have the power with the technology that we have today. I mean, just think about this. Imagine that I'm doing a presentation and there's 500 people listening to me. Can you imagine the power of this? Can you imagine if you really go after your circle of influence and you do what we call the grand opening of your business, where you can invite people and with your sponsor or somebody else or yourself, you just share with people what's happening with your business. And anybody that shows interest, you spend time with them, you get them activated and you get them going. And then you get into their circle of influence. And once they've got a little bit of results and they're confident on the product, you can set up another grand opening of their business on Zoom and you help them with it and you get to their circle of influence. And then somebody in that circle of influence gets activated and then you work with them and you got to work with them. You get into their circle of influence. By doing this, you know, there's people right now doing 5, 6, 10,000 volume points a month while they're building their business. There is no excuse. There's never been a better time. Like Steve Jobs said once, you can't look at your competition and say you're going to do it better. You have to look at your competition and say you're going to do it different. What did Mark Hughes do? In 1980, when he started Herbalife, the world was in a very similar situation. There was a 20% inflation. We're not there yet, but you know, it's coming. The interest rates were very high. We're not there yet, but it's coming. They had the Iran crisis with the oil, and there was a lot of confusion in the United States. And network marketing had only just been kind of accepted after the ruling of the Amway case. And there was a lot of network marketing companies getting started. But most of those companies were focused on a certain segment of the population, of the market, and they were going about it in a certain way. What Mark Hughes did that was completely different is that with his team, and you know, you're going to soon learn from one of them, which will be our next speaker for our next supervisor school, which I'll share with you in a minute. They put together a plan because they understood that for them to be different, they had to change the public that they communicated with. Instead of just a segment, they opened the doors of Herbalife to everybody. Housewives, school teachers, dropouts, all kinds of people. Okay. Number two, they understood that they had to change the language. They couldn't just speak business-like. They had to keep the language very simple so that everybody that came in contact with them would understand what was being said. And the process had to be like simple language, simple concepts, so everybody could get going, because that's all that matters, getting people going. Once they get going, it's a lot easier. It's like, trying to get an airplane off the ground at 30 kilometers an hour. It's impossible. To get an airplane off the ground, you've got to give it full throttle. And then when it takes off, you can even switch the engine off and it can just fly. Well, your business is kind of like that. And then the other thing that Mark Hughes understood with his team of leaders is that they changed the behavior. They learned to behave in a certain way, and they learned to train people to become leaders and to do all the things that we do in Herbalife. All kinds of people that had all kinds of different backgrounds. They didn't have any particular training, but that was the difference that Herbalife, of course, the products and a lot of other things, but primarily that's what I see we need to do now. It's open the eyes and understand that we have the greatest opportunity in the last 40 years with Herbalife, because out there, the world is looking for the solutions that we have. I'm not saying everyone's going to join, and we don't want everyone. Remember, we don't need everyone. We just need a few people, and then we work with them and develop them. And that's how you build a massive organization. Okay. Our business model is the ideal decentralized business model where you can have direct income and residual income. This is the dream of most business people. Okay. Lots of independent cells that grow inside a large network. We need to be the stewards of the network, the vigilantes, because right now there are people who are implementing tactics and strategies that aren't necessarily beneficial for the network. But we must focus on what we can do and grow the business based on sound principles. It's the best time in our history. Let's take advantage. And to conclude the next concept, the next 40 years, I've already talked about it. We're going to experience the biggest harvest ever. The last 40 years have served us as a preparation to what's coming in the future. All right? What's happening already, but into the future. Make sure that you tap into your circle of influence before anybody else does it, because it will happen. Let me ask you this. Are you earning what you're worth? I am here to let you know you're worth more. If you're listening today, you are already worth more. You got great value today. Now, the question is, what are you going to do with it? Think about this. Right now, around the world, there are thousands of people that the sole purpose of life is working on getting to Mars, to the planet Mars. Just think about it. A few years ago, if you said to somebody, we're going to Mars, they look at you, they think you're crazy. You're a lunatic. Okay? What did Mark Hughes do? We're going to change the nutritional habits of the world. One person at the time, one city at the time, one country at the time, around the world. And he believed it when he said it. He didn't just say it. And by golly, here we are 40 years later, around the world, growing faster and bigger than ever before. Look around you. Is 10 billion a crazy number? Is 20 billion a crazy number? Is 100 billion a crazy number? Everything is possible. What are you going to do about it? That's the key question. Okay. let's get down to business. If you're sitting there, yes, you sitting right there now, and if you think I can't do it, you're right. But if you're thinking you can do it, you will do it, I am doing it, you're also right. You make the choice. Success is a habit, but failure is also a habit. Take action one step at a time and make it happen. And watch what happens. The magic of Herbalife will take over. I really look forward to meeting all of you sometime, somewhere around the world. And, you know, I just love Herbalife. I think this is so cool. But now, let me tell you something. I said it before, if there was ever a time to be a supervisor in Herbalife, is right now. You've been with us for an hour and a half, but now the question is, what are you going to do with this information? How many supervisors are you going to personally have at our next school, supervisor school? And if there was ever a time to be in a supervisor school, it's next month. Next month is going to be, I mean, did you enjoy this supervisor school, everybody? Be honest. Well, let me tell you something. You haven't seen anything yet. It's a great honor for me because next month we're going to have two very successful individuals. One will be our host, Elizabeth Augusta, who was a pioneer with us in Europe. She worked alongside with Mark Hughes, knew him very well, and she helped build Europe. And Elizabeth is also an executive president's team, and she's also a member of the famous Hall of Fame. She will be our host, and she'll be introducing our guest, our special guest, which I have the honor to be introducing now. And I met him many, many, many years ago. Think about it. He used to be a school bus driver. And many, many years ago in Hawaii, on a bus, that's the funny part, we were having these conversations and we were laughing and really having tremendous fun. And we've been friends for a long time. And every time we meet, we have a joke, because we're always joking about the fact that the business is going too slow. Okay, because he was telling me the stories when they built the business in America, that it grew like wildfire, and all the things that they were doing that he'll be sharing with you. He joined the business in June of 1980. The company was only a few months old. He was sponsored by Mark Hughes. Think about this. He's one of the few chartered supervisors in our company. And he was just looking for an opportunity and a way to travel around the world, a school bus driver. And he's been in the company now 41 years. And if you want to talk about taking action, listen to this. The guy is a serious action taker. He has over 250,000 distributors in his organization around the world in 51 countries. He has 265 President's Team members, 9 Chairman's Club members, and 2 founder circles in his organization. He has 4 diamonds. And the interesting part is that all of these diamonds, each one is in a different country: UK, South Africa, Mexico, and the United States. So I don't know what else to say. We couldn't have a better 2 speakers for our next supervisor school. Just make sure that you share all of this information, emotion, all of these concepts with everybody in your organization, and leave now or tonight, make the decision I'm going to qualify one brand new supervisor, and I'm going to help every one of my supervisors to qualify one brand new supervisor who qualifies for the supervisor school on the 5th of August to learn and enjoy and have fun with Elizabeth Augusta and the one and only Mr. Dennis Dowdell. From me, I don't really have anything else to say. I love what I do. I can't wait for the next 40 years. Thank you for being with us and listening and being part of this very first supervisor school that will definitely mark a before and after. And I look forward for many years for our supervisor schools with all the legends from around the world, along all the young up and coming leaders. So Angela, thank you to you for being such a lovely host. And thank you for everybody that's part of this. And back to you, Angela.
Wow, our patron, you just hit the ball out of the park. Well done. Thank you so much. This is the fundamentals of our business, guys. This is it. And this is what we're going to be bringing you every month from the legends. I don't know about you, but I've been taking really good notes. This is the basics of the business. It's how Mark Hughes started Herbalife, and it's how these guys have taken this business around the world. I am so excited for this concept of a supervisor once a month, a supervisor school. And as Alf said to you, you know, we're not going to put restrictions on people getting in, but we know that every single person on here is a fully qualified supervisor. We're relying on your integrity to use this tool to build your business, and ask yourself, how many people are you going to have on with you next month in front of the legend that is Dennis Dowdell? Oh my God, first line to Mark Hughes. I mean, we've brought Mark's translator to you today. Now we're going to have first line to Mark Hughes, personally sponsored. Not many people can say that. And they're going to be bringing you the magic that is Herbalife, how to build your business, a step at a time, a day at a time. That's why we're all here. And thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll be talking about this for weeks to come. Just go out, build your business, ask how many you'll have on with you in August. And we're definitely going to up the numbers, I know, because we've had 500 was our limit, with 500 fully qualified supervisors, and many people were trying to get in and couldn't get in. So it's going to be manic next month. We're going to up the numbers, so just go for it, guys. Thank you very much. And thank you in particular to two very good friends. I must just acknowledge them. One is Christian Schaffert from Vienna, Austria, who put this all together. He's a Get Team member. He's an amazing guy. And Kevin over there, who in Italy, who's been doing these amazing flyers and everything for us. And I know he's going to be watching the football on Sunday. Sorry, Kevin, but you know. So we, England's European Cup this Sunday. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very soon. See you with Dennis Dowdell and Elizabeth Augusta, my good friend, who happens to be my upline too. So Dennis Dowdell, Elizabeth Augusta on the 5th of August. How many are we going to have on with us? Thank you very much, everybody. Good night and God bless.